He had never read True Romance.
So he didn't know anything about those.
It was like, it was a situation, he loved the script so much, all right, that it was like, he said to me, unless this kid is just a complete jerk, I'm going to make this movie.
You wrote the script for...
Let me just go back to, like, but Harvey Keitel's contribution was, he read the script of Dogs and just completely loved it, completely believed in it, and committed himself to it. Now, Harvey's career has changed so drastically since the days before Dogs. I mean, you know, Dogs was a good, and Bad Lieutenant were good launching pads, and The Piano took him to the moon. I mean, like, overseas, Harvey means as much now as Jack Nicholson because of The Piano.
Is that right?
Oh, he's huge in overseas.
Japan, France.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, I mean, The Piano did well for him here in America, but I mean, in Europe, he is a superstar. All right. Now, the thing, and that it couldn't happen to a better actor. I mean, he deserves it. But the thing is, though, Harvey committing to the movie at the time, all right, doors didn't just fling open, all right, but he gave us legitimacy. All of a sudden, two guys who had never done anything before, well, we had Harvey Keitel, we had a good actor involved. And I'm sure the only reason that Richard Gladstein, and I know the only reason Richard Gladstein at Live, who had the power of the pen, all right, that said, yes, I'm going to go with it, the only reason he read the script in the first place was because Harvey Keitel was attached.
Did you have any moment of doubt that you could deliver, that you were ready to deliver?
I think you always do have, like, as far like when, okay, you've got the job. Now I got to do it.
You know.
Okay.
And almost a little bit like the thing that Churchill said at the beginning of World War II, all my life has prepared me for this moment.
Yes, well, that's definitely the case.
I'm ready to go. Whatever I can learn, I've learned. I've read, studied, I've talked, I've written, I've done everything I can. Boom.
Well, it's funny because it's like, I remember at one point when we were getting ready to get the, like, you know, the go-ahead on the movie, I remember thinking to myself, wow, writing's kind of easy because if I do what I do as a writer and it doesn't work out, I can throw it away, all right? But it's like, you know, now the whole thing about being a writer is if I do it on the page and I give it to somebody else and they screw it up, well, you know, I can like have righteous indignation about it and everything. But now if I do it on the page and I screw it up filming it, well then, who do I get to blame?
Would you do it differently, that film today? I mean, did you say what you want? It's the film you wanted frame by frame by frame by frame.
Proud of that movie. I mean, I would do, maybe little thing, I would extend this shot a little, but except for that.
But essentially, it's the film you wanted to make.
I adore Reservoir Dogs.
And how
not because of what I did, I'm just saying.
What did it say to an audience of film about you, about Quentin Tarantino?
Well, you know what?
What's the...
Well, you know what it ended up doing, which was very interesting, was the fact that, you know, people ask me from time to time, do you make a movie with an audience in mind? And my answer is, yes, I do. All right, but the audience I have in mind isn't some faceless blobs that I'm trying to second guess. Right. It's me.
It's not like a focus group.
Yeah, it's me. I'm the audience. I'm the guy that goes out and pays $7 or $8 in New York, you know, to go and see a movie. All right, I go, if I'm excited about seeing a movie, I see it on opening day. All right, I am the audience. All right, and I know what I want to see, you know. And I was betting, and I was a little surprised at how many there were. I was betting that there are other people like me out there, all right? Now, true, I'm making specific films. And if you make a specific film, that's not everything for everybody. You're going to turn some people off, all right? But you're going to turn some people on, too. And, you know, now, the thing is, the film got a lot of remarks because of the violence in it, all right? And in a way, they were kind of like, I always kind of took it as a big compliment, because I know the film isn't that violent, all right? It's
so
like,
why is it a compliment?
Because I did it well. I mean, like, the scenes I got.
Well, in other words, they thought it was more violent than it was.
I thought it was far more violent than it was. All right. Now, actually, you know, quoting De Palma has said that when you do violence, you actually get penalized for doing it well. Hacks don't get penalized for you know, showing anything because it doesn't mean anything.
Right.
All right. So in a way, they're saying good filmmaking. All right. Especially since like the movie is a talking heads movie. It's people talking to each other for like the entire 90 minutes with like 3 acts of violence in the movie. The most notorious one you don't even see on screen. All right. So it's like, well, thanks. But you know, but the thing is, how did it introduce me? It's like you know, I'm always kind of weird about actually answering a question like that because it's almost like I'd rather you tell me.
Well, but all of a sudden it said this is a guy, there is a new filmmaker, it said, who has exploded and who has a signature that is distinctly his own. You could take a lot of films made in America, and you could say, that's a well-made film, but I could name 3 or 4 directors of talent who could have made that film.
Right.
I don't know of anybody else who I think automatically could make Reservoir Dogs, or would have made it.
Yeah.
Same thing as about Pulp Fiction,
Yeah.
don't you think?
I completely agree.
Yeah.
I mean,
there is such a signature, and that's what I was asking you to do, is to define the signature. I got to move to Pulp Fiction, and we're going to see a couple of scenes here. Oh, it's the Big Mac scene. Set it up for me before we take our roll tape.
What's going on is in this scene, this is like it's John Travolta and Samuel L. Jackson. They play 2 hitmen, Jules and Vincent, who are on their way to blow away a couple of guys. But the thing is, they're just going to work. So they're like having like a carpool conversation that you might have, all right, on your way to work. And the thing is, Vincent has just come back from after 3 years in Amsterdam. So he's just musing on the things that he experienced in Europe for the first time.
Roll tape. Here it is. Pulp Fiction.
But you know what the funniest thing about Europe is?
What?
It's the little differences. And you know what they call a quarter pounder with cheese in Paris?
They don't call it a quarter pounder with cheese?
Oh man, they got the metric system. They wouldn't know what a quarter pounder is.
And what do they call it?
They call it Royale with cheese.
Royale with cheese.
That's right.
What do they call a Big Mac?
Big Mac's a Big Mac, but they call it Le Big Mac.
Le Big Mac. What do they call a Whopper?
I don't know. I didn't go on a Burger King.
We should have shotguns for this kind of deal.
How many up there?
3 or 4.
That's counting our guy?
Not sure.
So that means it could be up to 5 guys up there?
It's possible.
We should have shotguns.
Why Travolta?
Well, I've always thought that John Travolta is one of the greatest movie stars Hollywood's ever produced.
Movie stars.
Yes. I mean, he's a wonderful actor too, but I mean, like, he was a great star when he came out. And, I mean, people tend to, in fact, it's actually very scary how people tend to forget, because John Travolta was so huge when he came out. And it was like, and he actually shared something that only Brando had before him and only Julia Roberts has had since him, is that any part it was even remotely halfway conceivable that he could play was immediately sent to him.
Right.
And he did wonderful work in that time. In Saturday Night Fever, even wonderful comedy work on that TV show that made him a star, Welcome Back, Kotter.
Right.
Urban Cowboy, in particularly from my money, in Blowout, the Brian De Palma film, which is one of my 3 favorite films of all time. His performance in that is great.
Wait, the other 2 are Urban Cowboy and what else?
And Saturday Night Fever, you know, and he was nominated for an Oscar for Saturday Night Fever. Yeah. And also, actually, in a movie...
What are your 3 favorite films of all time?
I'm sorry. Okay, my
Urban
3 favorite
Cowboy?
Films... No.
No, okay. I thought...
I get screwed up. Okay. Whatchamacallit? Blowout.
Blowout.
Rio Bravo.
Blowout was made by
Brian De Palma. Rio Bravo by Howard Hawks. Right. And Taxi Driver by Martin Scorsese.
Yeah. And they share, if they share one thing, what is it?
I don't know what they share.
I don't know either.
You know what? Other than I guess probably other than a major directorial vision.
Right, vision of a director.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Talk about comedy and Pulp Fiction. People say, one, it has comedy about it.
Yeah.
Is it black humor? Is it something else? And how far can you go with you wanting to combine comedy with violence, with storytelling, with all the elements that are going into this film? How far can the comedy go because of the seriousness that's also there?
Well, I mean, as far as like how far can the comedy go? Well, as long as it's funny, as far as I'm concerned, as far as it can go. I mean, like, you know, George Carlin does this really wonderful routine where he talks about how the fact like anything can be made funny.
Yeah.
And, you know, anything can be, you can make a joke out of anything. You name me any horrific thing and I can make a joke out of it. All right, because, you know, a joke is a joke. It
but
has
I thought I read
construction.
somewhere where you said that some of this stuff is so serious we can't joke about it. You never said that, you know?
No. I've never said that.
No, you wouldn't believe that.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about it is, though, I mean, it's funny because...
it's almost the reverse of it. We can find humor in almost everything.
I mean, humor is a magnifying glass, all right, for us to look at society, ourselves, our personalities, our problems, and, you know, I mean, you know, humor is what we need to actually observe things, all right, and actually put them in perspective. All right, and it's like, but again, you know, the answer is like, you know, well, if it's funny, that's acceptable. But you know, if it's not funny, then you messed up. But